In 1949, my uncle and a group of Trappists decided that they were not totally satisfied with what was going on within the monastery at Gethsemane, and so decided to form another monastery. My uncle, somewhere along his travels, had met Henry Luce and his wife Claire Booth Luce. These were very prominent business people and philanthropists. Henry Luce was involved with, and I think owned, the New York Times. They owned about 200 plus acres of property just north of Charleston, South Carolina, and had planned to move there when they retired and set up a plantation home. Somehow, when my uncle talked to them, and since they were Catholic, he encouraged them to donate the land in an area called Monk's Corners, again, just north of Charleston, South Carolina. Donate this land to be turned into an abbey. So my uncle, whose Trappist name was Brother Linus, and his compatriots left Gethsemane in Kentucky and started the monastery in Mepkin Abbey. He was there from 1949 until 1952, when he believed that his calling was to become an ordained priest. I, not being Catholic, do not know all the fine points involved in that. However, I do recall my family members telling me that because one of the things that was stated in the video was that the most difficult part of being a Trappist might be that vow of stability. And so by wanting to leave and become an ordained priest was against one of the principles. However, my great aunt, my grandmother's sister, Amy, who was Catholic, my understanding was that she went and actually talked to either the Pope or his designee to get permission for my uncle to leave the Trappist monastery, because you don't ever leave the order, I understand, and become an ordained priest. So in 1952, my uncle was ordained and left the monastery area to become a practicing priest in the area of Vermont. Sometime during that period, he met the Von Trapp family of the Sound of Music fame, and he became their personal priest from 1952 until around 1955. During that period, he was living in Vermont, but had ties with family and friends in Germany and in the United States. So, sometime in 1956, he went to Germany to christen my cousin, who had been born in Germany in January of 56. When he went there, he also was very much interested in visiting places in Europe, and also he had heard about a gentleman whose name was Hermann Gemeiner, who had started in 1949 a charitable organization called the SOS Kinderdorf. We know it as the SOS Children's Villages. When my uncle was traveling around, though, he realized that as a priest, he had to be sponsored by someone, since he wasn't any one place. And so he decided that his interests were, one, to become part of the SOS Kinderdorf Children's Villages, and two, how could he go about doing this and move to Austria to help out. So what he did is he looked around for a bishop or someone to sponsor him. And in his travels, he met the Bishop of Oslo, Norway, who decided to take him under his wing and allow him to work for the SOS Children's Village organization. And that's what my uncle did for the following 30 years. So the next videos you're going to see are what the SOS Children's Village is all about, and learn a little bit more about my uncle's devotion to both his spiritual side under the Catholic Church and his secular side under helping children who were less fortunate than me.